Hello everybody, my name's Aloy Royal and today is the first episode of Let's Talk Reading. Today I've got my mate Connor here and we're going to be talking about Reading FC after their latest FA Cup exit to Eastleigh.
So Ollie, what were your thoughts on that one?
Well, for me personally, it's a poor display from the Royals, if I'm being honest. You know, we had a good first 20 minutes with the ball, good possession, but realistically, we didn't do anything with it. Our fullbacks weren't great. The crosses, the standard of crosses weren't great. We had about 3 free kicks in, the opposition's half, and none of them were really up to standard, if I'm being honest. The delivery wasn't there, the standard wasn't there, and most importantly, the performance was not there at all. Brightest player, I think, for us in the first half has got to be Tom Holmes, I think. Coming into a Reading FC side who have really been relegated into the reserves, I thought he was pretty good at maintaining that defensive line and was a really rock-solid person at the back. However, we did concede a goal in that first half, and it was a very, very, very poor goal to concede. Amadou Mbengue just switching off for a couple of seconds to let Eastleigh striker nod one, or should I say, tap one, home. Connor, what were your thoughts on the game?
Got to completely disagree with you with Tom Holmes. I thought he was absolutely shocking. He was at fault for the goal at the 94th minute. He was completely just overpowered in the corner. Best player Femi Aziz. I mean, he was unbelievable. Always asking for the ball, always receiving it, always looking, forward, positive. And his goal, what was it, in the 86th minute? Unbelievable. Strike into the top corner from about 22 yards out. Unbelievable finish. But from start to finish, we were poor. The protest did not help at all. The players switched off. I think they scored 3 minutes after the protest.
Yeah.
It was a dire performance considering they're 36 places below us in terms of league football. It's just not good enough at all. Why Sellers decided to make 8 changes after we just battered Carlisle 5-1 in the week, don't know. Honestly, shocking from start to finish.
But I would say this. I agree with the Femi Aziz point. I thought he was brilliant, always asking for the ball, and one of our standout players that were really, really enthusiastic in their first half. But you've got to say at the same time, Eastleigh weren't even a bad team to play against. We may have made them look quite good in the build-up, but at the same time, we had most of that possession. We could have done a lot more with the ball, but Eastleigh defended incredibly soundly, in my opinion. And maybe we got a bit unlucky with the penalty shout that Tom Holmes had, or or Femi Aziz getting a bit unlucky with his dribbles, or Carson whipping the balls in. Who knows? But you can't take it away from Eastleigh. They were absolutely brilliant on the day. Now, on to the protests we just talked about. Obviously, we've had a load of protests, 16th minute for 16 points deductions, something like that. Tennis balls, die young, get out of our club is the main sort of philosophy with the fans at the moment. The sell before you die movement as well is one of the big standout points currently for Reading FC fans alike. It's one of the most organised things Reading FC has done in a while, I'd have to say. And because of that, we have a big sort of outreach to people who didn't really know what was going on at the club as well. ITV did their coverage of the game. Ian Wright did a really, really good job of presenting us as a team that needed some help. 6th oldest team in the league, EFL wise. It's mental to find out where we are, and obviously, Dai Young's our owner. Shouldn't really be owning a football club in the first place. Bankrupted a team in China, bankrupted a team in Belgium. We're just hoping the same doesn't happen to us. Connor, your thoughts on the protest?
It's got to stop. I think it was Bolton, the first one. It's we made our point. We got national television coverage from that. We made our point there. Now we're just disrupting the players. Like the players, every single time we do a protest, we concede straight after because they lose their concentration. The protests have to stop. We've made our point. We're in the process of a takeover. Nothing's going to change by protesting. It's happening. We've just got to be patient. But the fans that are throwing the tennis balls on the pitch, throwing the fake money on the pitch, it's got to stop. They're an embarrassment. It's not helping our situation at all. We've got to respect that the takeover is happening and it's not a quick process.
For me, though, Connor, I think I actually disagree. You know, after the 6 years, 4 years, 5 years of Die Young, points deductions, embargoes, 24/7 at the club. It's something that needs to be processed. I know we've done it to death, right? We've done a load of protests, and maybe they haven't been the greatest for players, but at the same time, maybe there's other factors that affect the players' performances. Like, you look at that squad: Lewis Wing, brilliant striker. Andy Yeardom, brilliant defender. We've got these good defenders, these championship level players in our squad that should be performing better. But maybe it's another factor, the fact that they aren't getting paid on time, which something recently happened with Die Young not paying the staff, and that had to pay the players instead of the staff because otherwise you get a points deduction. It's mental.
Yeah, but we've just got... I get that, but we've just got to respect that it's not a quick process. It's not gonna happen with the click of a finger. It's not gonna be like, protest, it's gonna happen immediately. Yes, the players aren't getting paid. Yes, the staff aren't getting paid. But protesting isn't gonna make that change quickly. Like, it's just not gonna change.
I know that it might be a good way of looking at it, right? But for me, history repeats itself. Back in 1980s, some guy, I don't know if you probably know about this, Connor, you're a Reading fan, Robert Maxwell, who used to own Oxford United back in the day. He tried to merge Reading FC with Oxford because of poor attendance, right? He tried to call it Thames Valley Royals, okay? And nobody was agreeing with it, nobody liked it, right? And because of that, we protested, and thankfully, Roger Smee stopped it from happening, who owned the majority of shares of Reading back in the day. For me, they've got to stop until we get a new owner in.
But doing that protest back in the 1980s, yeah, it worked, but it eventually worked. You did it. Well, back then we did the protest, but nothing happened immediately. You got to be patient. They were patient. Yes, they protested, but did the change happen immediately? Did they get what they want immediately? No, they didn't. Are we going to get new owners immediately? No, because it's not a quick process. Right, Ollie, here's a question. What would it mean to you for Reading to get back to where they belong? I'd say back to like Championship football, solid, pushing for Premier League, no really worries about relegation, points deduction, just a steady ship. What would it mean to you?
For me, it mean the world, if I'm being honest. After growing up with the club as a young kid, I went to, I think, 2 Premier League games when I was really little in 2011, about them. 2 of them, and it was surreal. I can't remember much, but it's just a core memory for me. Me, my dad, and my sister always go to these Reading games, and we love them to death. It's tradition at this point. And we've been to playoff finals. We've seen mostly downs, if I'm being honest, from my lifetime as a Reading fan. But we've been there, we've backed the boys, and of course we've made lots of noise on the way. It's the club is not a company that everyone goes and sees. No, it's a family. It's how we express ourselves. It's how you can have a talk with somebody you never met before at a pub or something like that. You have that common interest of football. And when you support a club like Reading, it's local. It almost feels like it's embedded in you. It's who you are. And because of that, for me, seeing Reading go right to the Championship, pushing Premier League back where we belong, it would mean the world.
Yeah, likewise. I think 2017 playoff final, I was there. Great day out until obviously the end of the penalties. We were 1 penalty off the Premier League. I think I actually cried that day. I've been going to games since I was a little kid with my mum, my dad, my sister, my whole family. I've been a season ticket holder for nearly 10 years now. My dad's been a season ticket holder for over 20 years. It's just seeing the club like this is it's quite sad, to be honest. When we need to just stay positive, just hope that we get back to where we were back in the Championship. In my lifetime, we have not been this low. We're 23rd out of 24 in League One. To be this low, honestly, 5 years ago, never would have thought it. Just need to hope and pray we get back to where we were with the new owners that come in next month, I hope.
Yeah, I really do hope we do get new owners in next month. You know, it's been a wild ride for us Reading fans recently. You know, we all thought relegation last season at the hands of Huddersfield and Sheffield United would be the lowest of lows, but after experience this season, lowest of lows can go lower. You know, you wouldn't have thought it. It's as unprecedented. You know, Sunderland had a similar sort of thing where they got relegated. So did Coventry. There's similar things as well. They were once a great Premier League side. I'm not saying we were a great Premier League side, but we certainly were up there in the Championship. And it's just sorry to see, because it's such a family-orientated club, Reading. You know, there's so much going on around the club that's great, and the players, I reckon they do have some sort of allegiance to the club, but at the same time, if you're making a living out of football and you're not getting paid, the motivation there is going to go down sufficiently, if I'm being honest. So I just really hope we can turn things around. Ruben Sellers, I'm not sure if he's the right manager for the job. Hopefully he is, but yeah, let's hope he does. And that will be the end of today's podcast episode, and hopefully the first of many. If you did enjoy it, please do give me a follow here on Spotify, or if you're on Apple, same thing. And if you're on YouTube, give me a subscriber. I'd absolutely love it, and it really helps me out. And as always, guys, stay loyal.